Blessings, blessings, blessings. Good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome, one and all. Welcome back to the channel. And tonight is our fifth week. Oh, what's happening there? Okay, let me ignore the internet. Just continue. Tonight is our fifth week with our Autism Awareness Month, and this is we're going to be closing off this evening. And Junior has left the screen. He will return. And our topic tonight is going to be autism inclusive organizational strategies. And as I said, this month is April or Autism Awareness Month. And we have been focusing on autism awareness and different areas from the first Monday until now. So this is our fifth week, and we are trying to wrap up on this topic this evening. And welcome back, Junior. So without any further ado, our focus scriptures that we have been using throughout this month, Philippians 4:13, which says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And as you know, we have been saying, it doesn't matter if you're autistic or you are not autistic, you are Down syndrome or not. Once you're in Christ, you can do all things because he gives you strength. And the other one is Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. And it says, Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will keep thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Right? So whatever it is, don't be fear. Do not God will not give you a spirit of fear. He will he will uphold you, and he will be there for you throughout every challenge along the way. And as we all know, our challenges are to make us stronger, right? So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my special guest this evening. Again, welcome back, Shahira Ali. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for coming back on. And my co-host is Daniel George Jr. Welcome, welcome, lady and gentlemen. Welcome.
Hey, it's great to be back again.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And our topic is, as mentioned earlier on, autism inclusive organizational strategies. So I would let Junior start the ball a rolling. I hope he is hearing me. He looks frozen. Hello. Are you hearing me, Junior? Junior, are you hearing me? Okay, so let's start, Shahira. We're going to start talking about, different things that can be done throughout in organizations to make it more friendly for persons with autism.
Yes, so let me begin by saying what employers can do to incorporate autistic adults into the workplace. Now, let's see. I'm trying to figure out why my eye is not looking eye level in the camera. But never mind. So, employers can help by changing the physical environment to accommodate the autistic person's need. Health breaks can be introduced and also a quiet zone. So, like if the person gets a meltdown or something, they can go over there. It's always a good idea to have mentors to assist along the way. And additionally, other members of staff should be sensitized about autism and have an idea of the things that may trigger off the autistic individual. You know, it is important for people who are friends with autistics also to know what their triggers are. Because I mean, all autistics have triggers. Now, most importantly, autistics need to feel comfortable and inclusive and get the opportunity to showcase their talents. People should
Amen.
be more tolerant, patient, and understanding and accepting of autistics. Now, this will go a very long way in ensuring that they experience a better quality of life and enjoy to the fullest, just like the rest of us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Junior.
Okay, my internet is very bad. Good evening to all viewers. Good night, good morning, wherever you are. My connection is really bad, and from next week, I wouldn't be on until I have a stable supply of internet, which I intend to work on. Right, it may take a bit of time, but I'll definitely return after that. And to the viewers who are listening, welcome once again. Thanks for being with us for the past 4 weeks, and this is the fifth week where we are dealing with autism awareness. We started the last week in March as an introduction, as we were leading up to April, and you walked through the entire April with us, and we really appreciate that. So today we are speaking about organizations, and it includes employment, places of employment. It includes non-governmental organizations as well. And from an NGO perspective, I want you to ask yourselves, what can you do? And at the same time, I will say, what can I do as someone who is a part of several NGOs? So, on my end, what I decided to do, I decided to find out from other persons who have been dealing with autistic children in organizations how they manage to include them. And I actually interviewed a few of them for a different platform, one of my personal platforms, and they were able to share with me some things that was so amazing. In particular, you treat them normal. And that was one common thing that I have been hearing as I interviewed persons. So if there's a game of dominoes, all of them play domino, including persons who are autistic. If there's football, all of them play football. Even though they may respond different on the football field or wherever it is or whatever they are doing, whatever activity they are involved in, they just let them be themselves. Nobody objected, nobody act like if something is wrong, and everybody just understand that people will respond different to different things, but everyone deserves to be included and to enjoy themselves. So the achievement in having them involved in everything is that they are enjoying themselves, because the purpose of whatever event, whatever activity is taking place is for persons to enjoy themselves, whether it is a youth targeted program or is a community based program. It is just about getting people to enjoy themselves. So it doesn't matter what way someone enjoy themselves, once it's legal, of course, and it's a nice fun time. They may be a little different, but you just let them be. But you don't exclude them and say, well, they may go to the opposite side of the goal, or they may do something different. No, you just let them join, and sometimes they may be in a position where they understand the game. Depends on if it is a game they like, because they cling to things that attract them. So there are autistic persons who are very good in football. They might score far more goals than me. There may even be some good at cricket, or well, we know Isaiah is a boss in drawing. I wouldn't even try to challenge him because he is very excellent at that.
That's right.
I think the internet was fluctuating there again. The internet was fluctuating there again. You all hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Yeah, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Anyone? Hello?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
you hearing me, right?
Yes.
Right. So the whole idea, based on the response I got from persons with experience in NGOs, when I say experience dealing with autism, they just let children be. And I even interviewed the owner of a preschool, and it's similar.
Hmm.
She just allowed them to do all the same things that all the rest of children are doing. And there are still challenges, which I will probably touch on briefly. And challenges include lack of awareness. So, for example, on the community level, let's say we have a group, an organization, we have autistic persons and all persons included, but then we go to mingle with another group for some tournament or some get together, and persons in another group may not be familiar with our members who are autistic. There could be some challenges there. And in most cases, the information or the awareness where autism is concerned is not widespread, right? So, mainly in the circles where autistic persons are accustomed to, you may find that persons are beginning to understand them. But what about when you take them out to the wider public? So that means there's a lack of awareness, or I should say inadequate awareness. Now, organizations that specifically deal with autistic children, as well as organizations that include autistic children, have identified the need for awareness. And then
Mhm.
that in itself shows up another challenge, because sometimes you need funding, sometimes you need support of the mainstream media, sometimes you need the support of the leaders in the community, and some people don't think it's important enough for them to support. So let's say, for example, you go to an organization that have about 80 youths, you go to the next one that have about 25 youths, and you ask them to come to an event you are having. They will look down at the event because it is about because it is about autism. And because they don't see it that important, they don't even pass on the information to their members, depriving their members of an opportunity to get to understand other human beings who they can coexist with, right? So ignorance is one thing, because there are a lot of leaders. I was once ignorant, and when I say ignorant in the right context, meaning that I was not knowledgeable
Knowledgeable. Yeah.
on the topic, right? Yes, I lacked knowledge, and I myself would have taken it for granted. But now that I know better and I understand, I can see the frustration that some of the activists who are advocating for inclusion, I could see some of the frustration they go through trying to get people's attention to begin with. the getting their attention. And this is one of the reasons why I mentioned the media. The media has the power to take any topic and make it a trending topic, any topic at all. And it shouldn't only be, as Shahira pointed out previously, it shouldn't only be at Autism Awareness Month or Autism Day, World Autism Day. It shouldn't be that 1 month for the year or that one day out of 365 or
Right.
366 days that we see these people as important, whereby we could flash and take our picture and do selfie and all kind of things to make ourselves look good because that is a hype at that point in time. So organizations now need to be more supported by those who can. And those who can will include the media, it will include the government, it will include the religious leaders as well. And I will repeat, it include the religious leaders.
That's right.
Religious
That's right.
who
Because
care, who claim to care. Religious leaders who claim to care cannot care selectively. They should they should care inclusively, and that includes autistic persons, of course.
That's right. I totally agree with both of you all because, they coexist with us 365 days for the year. And, like how there is like Mother's Day and some persons only tend to remember their mothers or purchase a gift for their mother just on that particular day, or those who celebrate the so-called Valentine. It's no, you share love daily throughout the year. So, we need to be compassionate. We need to be more sensitive to and make workspaces more user friendly, so to speak. Like not really user friendly, sensory friendly workspaces. Some persons with autism may be hypertensive, hypersensitive to certain stimuli, and such as, for instance, bright lights or loud noises. And we need to create a more inclusive work space. Organizations can provide adjustable lightings, noise canceling headphones, and calming sensory tools like probably weighted some heavy blankets or things like that. Even be flexible in scheduling work times, work schedules, and for instance, allowing them to like work remotely or having the option to work part-time. Organizations can also provide such flexibility to accommodate the employees' needs. Yeah.
Also, if you are going to a field trip, you don't want to say that you can't carry the autistic persons because you want to make noise on the maxi and blast the music. You could probably find a fun way that we could probably sing something that those amongst us who are autistic could enjoy, and don't look at it as we are trying to accommodate them, because they are always trying to accommodate us. They
Us.
always try to adjust to us. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they put out more than we even put out, yet we think that it's a burden upon us. But no, it's their normal, and their normal is just different from our normal. They are normal, we are normal. And that's how I
Sure.
see it. But we have to be considerate and consider that some persons may not be able to take some things, but that doesn't mean that they should be excluded.
Okay, Shahira.
Yes, I want to mention, as he said, religious leaders. You know, I think that in places of worship, religious leaders should make a stronger effort to give autistics opportunities to do what they like such as in different ministries. You know, they may not be able to do it as normal as the rest of individuals. People need to be a little bit more patient with them, because I mean, like, not all autistics learn the same way. Some of them are visual learners, and some of them take a longer time to learn specific tasks.
That's
So,
right.
over there, patience is the key. And to those who learn very quickly, yes, go ahead and give them the opportunity because they deserve it just like everyone else. And if it's one thing I realize is that some religious leaders have a tendency to state that whatever sickness or disability you have, just know that we're praying for you and it is gone. I've heard it numerous times. People try to fix persons with disabilities, but they did not make us, so why try to fix us? And, you know, I agree with everything that Junior Sawick said. I think that the government and the relevant agencies, they are not doing enough in this country to assist autistics because, like, things such as basic needs like therapy is like extremely costly in this country, and it seems as though only the wealthy can afford to take their children for therapy if they have special needs children. Because I read a lot of articles, and the poor people, they really struggle because, and even schools, it is usually very difficult to get autistics in schools in this country. Hence the reason why many parents end up taking the decision to homeschool their kids, which is usually very difficult because, sometimes mothers have to quit their jobs to just be at home with the child. And that is extremely difficult where money is concerned as well, to pay for therapy, homeschooling, all those sorts of things. And I would like to say this: I know about autistics who they don't really like to go out simply because they are judged too much by general members of the public. They need to be accepted for who they are. Let's say, for instance, I remember being a teenager, going to the mall. This was before I got my diagnosis. I would get meltdowns, and everyone would stare at me and say all sorts of things, such as I am a spoiled brat and, you know, the world of things. At that time, I had no idea I used to be experiencing meltdowns triggered by certain things that I wasn't even aware that triggered me. So, like, if someone sees an autistic child or adult in the mall crying or screaming loudly or even covering their ears, the first thing people usually say is that they are crazy or they have no training. But I say, instead of saying those things, making those assumptions, people should ask questions. Like, whoever is with the autistic person, ask them what's wrong. The individual may be having a meltdown or feeling scared due to noises or bright lights. Like, this may sound really funny, but when I was like really small, no one had any idea that I was autistic, and I would use the toilet and not flush it. People just thought I was being naughty. But really and truly, I was afraid of the noise, you know? Now, additionally, autistics may sound rude the way they sometimes speak, but this is simply because they have no filter. You know, A normal person has a filter, but autistics' brain are made up differently, so they don't. So, however, it's difficult for them to rationalize like the neurotypical person. And, you know, some of them may lash out as a means of coping when something is really bothering them. And many times they need a listening ear. The best thing to do when they are speaking like that, when I say speaking like that, I mean like lashing out, is to try to speak to them calmly. And the worst thing you can possibly do is to shout back at them or answer them back. Speak to them calmly and try to reason with them. Although they may say all sorts of irrelevant things or things that are getting you upset when they get angry. Now, I am not too sure where the host is. It seems as though she got bumped off. But I shall continue. Now, if all attempts fail while trying to speak to them, the second best thing to do is just to listen and not
Yes,
say
you could go
anything
right ahead.
as difficult as it may be.
Go right
Um,
ahead.
Now, let me see. Now, society needs to do a lot more to help people with autism. You see, like how April the 2nd fell on a Sunday, that day just flew by and no one really took it on the day itself. On a Sunday is the relaxing day. And in order to help people with autism, discrimination in the workplace should be stopped once and for all, right? Employers, it's time for them to be more understanding and autism friendly towards autistic, because abroad there are many autistic individuals who work, and not just in menial jobs, in ordinary jobs just like the neurotypical person, and they do very well. And one of the reasons they perform very well is because they are extremely observant. They have a keen eye for detail, and they are also very meticulous. And they tend to want to be perfectionists. Like myself, I always think that I am saying something wrong and I need to be better than that. And let's see, affordable and appropriately trained medical practitioners and therapists should be made available in this country to help in autistic persons' daily struggles and to make it easier for them to be integrated in society. Now, in this country, there are a few qualified doctors trained to deal with autistic children. However, when it comes to autistic adults, it's a whole different story, because a regular psychologist will tell you that they don't deal with special needs individuals and they are not trained. So the most they may do is attempt to deal with them, and if by a certain period of time they think that they are unable to help the autistic adult, they just stop seeing them. And suicide hotlines should be functional 24/7. You know, this is what happens. Now, lots of autistics have depression. Some may display it openly and some may just keep it inside. And when that depression gets too bottled up inside, it can lead to all kinds of thoughts. And they usually need someone to speak to, sometimes at odd hours. They may need that listening ear. And also, special transport arrangements should be made for autistics who live in rural areas in order to conduct their daily activities. I am not sure if you are aware, but there are Eldamo buses in this country, but they are limited in supply and oversubscribed. Educational institutions with specially trained and qualified staff focusing on the needs of autistic adults should be established and be made accessible to autistic persons at reasonable costs. And I would like to add one thing extra. Many times the average person may tell autistics that they act really childish. I've been told that numerous times, but I'd like to say that that's just how autism presents itself. Because let's say, for instance, someone may be 17 years old and that person may have the mind of a 7-year-old or act like a 7-year-old. Because we develop at a different pace than the neurotypical individual. So, referring to us as childish is absolutely wrong. And I think society needs to understand that.
Well, to God be the glory, I'm back. I missed a lot, but I am back. Thank God. Internet
That's okay.
issues.
That's okay. Shahira is doing very well.
Bless the Lord, bless the Lord.
And I what I would like to suggest when we are going into the autism awareness in the future, because I know we wouldn't wait until next year April. We will be dropping it in between the other topics from time to time. I would like to suggest, as we invite other guests, we have Shahira as our co-host, because Shahira is also very good in that capacity as well.
Would you believe
Absolutely.
would you believe that I was thinking that this evening it was on my mind?
Well, you're walking in the spirit.
And in my
It's sort of
in my mind,
divine.
I see all of us here as just having a discussion, because Shahira is the special guest here today, and yet she is also someone who we can look forward to running some nice programs.
Bless the Lord. Yeah, of course we can. So let me see if I can find back my notes now so I can add something. I don't know where you all got up to, but nevertheless, I'll listen.
You
I'll go
missed
back
a
and listen
whole
to
lot.
it. So, one of the things I've got here is training and awareness. Training and awareness, where organizations can provide training to their employees on autism awareness and understanding, including how to effectively communicate with individuals on the autism spectrum. I've got supportive management, where organizations again can create a supportive work environment by having managers who are trained in autism awareness and can provide accommodations and support to their employees as needed. So I will let you all continue and I will drop in my little pieces as we go along.
Who wants to continue? You or let me continue?
You go ahead, Shahira.
Hmm. Let's see. So, in workplaces, before hiring someone who's autistic, I would suggest that members of staff be briefed as to the triggers of the autistic individual. And I would also suggest that a professional who knows about autism speak to staff and management so that they will have a better understanding and know how to support the autistic individual to the best of their ability. Because I mean, who knows? Let's say someone take a lucky chance. Well, in Trinidad, I have to say a lucky chance and hire an autistic person. And that person does like extremely well. Who knows? Everyone can be shocked. And sometimes, now there are some persons who are autistic and they don't like to put it out there, say it openly, simply because they are afraid that persons will discriminate against them, you know. But the reason why I put it out here in the public is because numerous times in the past, people would say how I act so weird and call me retarded and a spoiled brat. So I just thought that I would explain myself and correct them and let them do their research, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
I think like in workspaces, let's say like some autistics don't like to be in noises. Maybe they should put them in a quieter area in the workspace to work. That way they will be very comfortable. And in terms of bright lights, those who have issues over there, they should, I would suggest having like curtains to block off sunlight. The one behind me is one like that because, I just cannot able with seeing the bright sunlight early in the morning. I just like the place dark out in the morning.
Blackout curtains. Yeah,
Yes,
blackout
like behind
curtains.
me. I just saying what come into my mind.
Yeah,
Let's see. I would say that in workplaces, if something upsets an autistic person, well, something that their colleague who may also be their friend say to them, if something upsets them one time, that does not necessarily mean that the autistic person will get upset all the time. And many times some of them may need someone who they can vent to. And it's not as though you are harassing people, it's just getting things off your mind. And neurotypical people do that as well. Think about it. If when you call your friends on the phone, you might carry on and on if something upsets you that took place during the day at your work or school. We all do it to some extent, marinate. And having mentors to assist along the way in work can also benefit autistics in
that's right.
a great manner.
That's right.
And,
Like, for instance, sorry, go ahead.
and if it's one thing I would like to say is that people should not compel autistics to have the mentor who they think would be able to best help them. Let the autistic person choose the mentor who they like the most.
that they feel more comfortable being
Yes,
around. Yeah,
you
I
feel
understand
most
that.
comfortable with.
Yeah, and that brings us to the point I have here with employee resource groups, where organizations can create employee resource groups for individuals with autism, where employees can share experiences, provide support to one another, and advocate for their needs within the organizations. Yeah, by implementing these strategies, organizations can create a more inclusive and supportive environment for the employees with autism, which can lead to improved job satisfaction, productivity, and retention. Go ahead, Junior.
Mike, I'm glad you mentioned productivity because there is increased productivity with an autistic person who is comfortable, just as there's increased productivity with any other person who is comfortable. And let me give an example. If there's a male or female going through a domestic issue at home and they come to work but they are uncomfortable, that could affect their level of productivity because of
That's right.
whatever is on their mind. And in some cases where employers understand that all employees are human and all employees may have something to deal with. It may not be domestic, but it may be some other challenge. Some employers have implemented in their workplace where they may have either a meeting in the morning that could break the ice or something once a week, that could give people the opportunity to vent, or something that could remind the workers that they are important in spite of their challenges, something motivational, something to keep them wanting to be at work the next day. Same way, there should be creative ways to get autistic employees, I should say, comfortable, and they most likely will be good throughout the entire day to the point that they will work diligently. Their productivity could be at 100%. Their productivity could be an increase as well. And it's just because you get them comfortable. And in
That's right.
most cases, well, except for autistic employees who are placed in a job where somebody think they should be working, but in most cases autistic persons will see what type of job they want to do. I sure Shahira know what kind of job she wants to do
I
and not
do.
what I think she should do. So if they apply for a job, in most cases it will be what they want to do. And definitely because they are so interested in it, they will work diligently, but they must be working with a comfortable mind frame.
I do appreciate that input because I also have a point here with career development opportunities. Organizations can create career development opportunities for their employees with autism, such as training programs, mentorship, and for leadership roles. Also, not just keep them at one level. Um, what's the word? What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? Help me, Lord. Promote them.
Yes,
Yes,
promotion.
Promotion.
yes, yes,
Yes, promotion.
yes.
And make
Yeah,
them prepare them for that promotion so that when promotion comes along, they have that equal opportunity to be promoted. And yes, I totally
that's
agree
right.
with that.
That's right. And
You will
and
not believe,
accommodation. Okay, I'll continue.
you will
Also,
not believe
accommodation during the hiring process. Organizations can provide accommodations during the hiring process, such as extended time for assessments and interviews, and to ensure that the individuals with autism have an equal opportunity to apply and demonstrate their skills. So you're just being patient with them. A regular person that does not have autism will probably fill out a form in, let's say, 3 minutes for the most. Give that person extended time
I would
to,
like to add something, can I?
sure.
interject? Or okay. Let's say an autistic person attends a job interview. You know, some autistics have a tendency to avoid eye contact. I was one of those, but eventually the habit just broke out of me. So let's say they come for an interview, but they are not looking at you in the eye, but they are answering everything you ask of them, and they are
Mm-hmm.
answering quite good, but they are not watching you in the eye. That does not mean that they are not listening or paying attention to what you are saying. They are aware of their surroundings, and everything you are saying they are listening to. Is just that they may not be looking at you in the eye, but they will be answering and everything.
That's right. Go ahead, Julia.
Yes. You may not believe that autistic persons could function at max even in managemental levels until you give them that chance. So sometimes it's just we wrongfully judge them and think that they will be incapable. So on the employment organizational level, I think or persons in management should consider giving the chance, because it must begin with they having that will to give an autistic employee a chance to excel. You can't know what somebody could bring to the table if you haven't given them a chance.
Absolutely right.
I agree 1000%.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I have here job coaching and mentoring. Some individuals with autism may benefit from job coaching or mentoring and to help them develop skills and adjust to the workplace. Organizations can provide such support to their employees as needed. Collaborative problem solving when issues arise, organizations can involve their employees with autism in collaborative problem solving to find solutions that works best for everyone. Go ahead, and whoever wants to go ahead.
As Junior mentioned, having a time to just discuss anything that employers and employees feel like at the workplace, it's an excellent idea, because it will boost productivity if things that bothers you, it's off your mind. That reminded me, when he said that, it reminded me of there there was something called homeroom that at school, when I was in Form 1 and 2, we used to have. And that used to be like one period every week. And during that time, the class would speak anything that was on their mind. It gave them the opportunity to talk out anything they feel like talking about. And I think that in workplaces, they should provide their employees with something similar, like just a time to talk. Even self, it's like once a week for half an hour, because you never know what persons can be going through. And this applies to neurotypical persons as well.
Very well, very well. I agree 100% also. Yeah. Um, I will go to communication, clear communication. Individuals with autism may have difficulty with social communication and understanding social cues. To make communication more accessible, organizations can provide written instructions, visual aids, and use clear, concise language. Yeah.
Yes,
What else?
indeed.
What else do I have here?
You know, as you say, visuals. A lot of autistics are visual learners. You know, visuals serve as a reminder of the rules in any organization. You know, where certain things go, what you are supposed to do at certain hours, and resources that are available. You know, using pictures and modeling will mean a whole lot to autistic individuals than a lengthy explanation, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Definitely, and that can be done like on a screen or probably on a whiteboard. I think the screen would be the better thing,
Yes,
like
indeed.
mhm.
Because, you know, as an adult autistic, sometimes I forget certain rules and I feel as though I need it written down and placed somewhere so I can look back and remind myself. You know, people usually think, well, how she could forget that dread and she does remember everything, she remembers so good. No, it does not work like that. You see, that's how the autistic brain is different. Simple things, you know, like manners and stuff, we may tend to forget at times.
Thank you so much for sharing and being open. We do appreciate. And for instance, I have another point here. I've got creating an inclusive culture. Organizations can create a culture of inclusion by promoting diversity and accepting differences. This can be done by fostering a sense of community, encouraging open communication, and celebrating diversity. Yeah.
It is important for individuals to model patience, understanding, and respect when dealing with autistic individuals and celebrate their successes no matter how small it may be, a very
Mm-hmm.
long way. And don't get angry if some accommodations don't conform to what you are accustomed to.
Yeah, and I should have added this when we spoke about visual accessible technology. Yeah, that's the point. And the explanation is organizations can provide accessible technology such as screen readers, speech recognition software, or other assistive technology to support their employees with autism. Yeah, so we're on point. We're on point, and we have 6 more minutes. So we're looking to wrap up now with closing advice and
Before
statements, suggestions.
before we wrap up, I just want to touch a bit on predictability.
Okay, go
Now,
ahead.
predictability eases anxiety for persons on the autism spectrum and helps to avoid distraction. Autistics need to know what to expect beforehand. They don't do very well with last minute changes. In this way, you know, they are less worried or curious about what will happen next and can better focus on work assigned to them. It's best to give autistics like a schedule that they can follow. If there are any unpredictable changes, it's a great moment to teach them how to model, model how to handle changes appropriately.
Okay, definitely. Junior?
Yes, so I haven't given consideration to that before, Shahira, and I'm glad you mentioned it. And as we all know, I am still learning. day after day, year after year. So I'm really glad you touched on that. In closing, I want to say to organizations or even leaders of organizations, place yourself in the shoes of someone who is different. And when I'm saying different, I'm not only referring to persons who are autistics, right? There may be persons who are in wheelchairs, they may be paralyzed. There may be so many reasons someone could be different.
Yeah, visually
And
impaired, things like that. Mm-hmm.
and place yourself in their shoes, in their situation, and ask yourself, what if you was in that situation and you had to be or feel excluded? Further, while you are already mentally in that situation, ask yourself, what if persons with influence and power were willing to create a better environment or to make some adjustments to the existing society to include you? And now that you ask yourself that, remind yourself that you are a leader and you are in a position where you can influence that change that you now desire to see. And if you are in a position where resources are accessible to you, think about that same resources that you would have liked to benefit from and place those resources, or at least some of the resources, into putting infrastructure in place for persons with autism to fit in just as you are fitting in and just as you would like to fit in if you were actually in their shoes, right? So it's just a matter of trying to understand what would have been your desires if you were in that situation, and what you could do for someone who is actually in that situation.
And thank you, Junior. And for the spiritual aspect of that, I will bring Luke 6:31 or Matthew 7:12, which is known as the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's a biblical concept, spoken by Jesus. That's in Luke 6:31. And then in Matthew 7:12, it is commonly referred to as the golden rule. So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you, for this sums up the law of the prophets. Yeah. And we don't want to show any discrimination, because we can by doing that um let these persons can end up with a spirit of rejection, right? Because they feel rejected, and that can affect their personal lives, their work in the work in the environment, their communication with colleagues and everything. So we don't want that. We don't what we don't want for ourselves, let us not do to others. All right. So thank you all very much. Any last comments or anything before I close?
Well, my closing comments will be empathetic and be a friend to an autistic person and give them a listening ear. It will go a very long way.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. And thank you to our listeners. Thank you very much for coming on. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your suggestions. Thank you for your time being here with us. And we look forward to having you next week, God's willing, again. And I'll just read the comment by Penny, Mrs. George. She says, patience, understanding, and respect. So true. So thank you guys very much. We do appreciate, and we shall see you all in another program. Blessings.